The Walter Camp Foundation has released its All-American list. It includes Chris Olave, Thayer Mumford, and Haskell Garrett on the first team. Dalton Moore a bit upset about Nicholas Petit-Frere and Garrett Wilson being snubbed, which, considering it's a preseason All-American team, I don't know if there's such a thing as being snubbed. Let's let the players perform. I know you want to have a lot of Ohio State players on the team, but that's at least my thought.
Well, Mark, there's only 130 teams in the country, so it can't be all, Ohio State's best guy at every position group can't make the first team All-American team as much as you may like Ohio State. I mean, I have no idea. I'm literally no idea who can play and who can't across 130 teams in the United States. I mean, I know Ohio State's got some good players, and Alabama's going to have some great players. Clemson's going to have some great players. Georgia, Oklahoma, those are probably the top 5 teams. So each of them is probably going to be allotted 2 to 3 guys on these teams, and then you just kind of fill in around the cracks. If anything, I think it's a good thing, something for Garrett Wilson and Nicholas Petit-Frere to aspire to be on the postseason teams and use it as a chip and a motivator to say, oh, you don't think? I mean, I'm looking at some sites, and we brought it up in the past here. Ohio State's got the best position group of wide receivers in the country. Top, if you tried to take a 1 through 5 or 1 through 6 of each position, wide receiver position group, nobody has a better 1 through 6 in the country than Ohio State. Nobody. And in fact, there were some lists that came out that had Olave 1 and Wilson 2 at wide receiver. Just because it wasn't the case on this one specific team from Walter Camp, I don't think it's any reason to get your panties all in a bunch, but whatever. So again, I'm with Mark. I don't put a lot of worry into stuff like this. I mean, at quarterback, everybody's going with Spencer Rattler, and he had a great year at Oklahoma, but I don't know. Is he going to replicate what he did last year? Is it the Clemson kid going to be right there on his heels? I mean, and the North Carolina kid, Howell, and some of these other guys. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you put them in a hat and draw them out for all I give a crap at this point. I mean, preseason.
Exactly. I was going to say, Steve, everybody but the voice of college football, we've got Sam Howell #1, Spencer Rattler #2, just for the record there.
I think good company to be in, though. Your name's being mentioned alongside those guys. Great company to be in.
It's very similar to just the watch list stuff, the preseason All-American stuff. And then you even had the regular All-American stuff last year. Like Shaun Wade was a first-team All-American, but you ask Buckeye fans how he played, they would tell you he should have been benched. So, like, that's after seeing it. The beforehand stuff, you don't get anything for that. You don't get a Buckeye tree in Buckeye Grove. This is the summertime when we're supposed to talk about this and get upset about this stuff. So I understand that. And Nicholas Petit-Frere was fantastic last year, is going to be fantastic, has all the makings of an All-American this year. However, the preseason stuff is so much about, do people know your name? And it's really hard for offensive linemen to be known. Thayer Mumford got a little bit known because he came back surprisingly. And so he's out there. Haskell Garrett got shot in the face last year, which helped raise the awareness of him, turned him into an All-American. I would argue that if he didn't have that happen, not enough voters would have known who he was
at his position, especially.
Exactly, as a defensive tackle. And he played very well, but having notoriety helps. Shaun Wade had notoriety because he almost left early the year before and came back, and he's a 5-star guy. This early, Chris Olave, everybody knows him. Garrett Wilson is kind of getting the short shrift there. I just don't know who else was. Who are the other receivers? I think that would tell you a lot as to why Garrett Wilson did make it, because there are a lot of good receivers out there.
Tough
Wilson
way to get
Olave.
Variety.
Yeah. Yes.
Wilson's better than Olave?
I like Wilson better than Olave.
See, I'm in the camp that he's not necessarily better now, but I project him to be better. I look at him, he looks prototypical compared to Olave.
And Olave, to say that, I feel like I'm sliding Olave, which I shouldn't, because he may be the best Ohio State receiver ever. I mean, based on what he's been able to do and where he came from, I just if I'm going to throw the ball to one of them on 3rd and 11, I'm going to go to Garrett Wilson.
It's hard to pick one over the other.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that at the camp, it's really cool. About a half hour before the camp starts, they queue up the Clemson game, which is like their claim to fame right now, that they thumped the, if I can say the S word, thumped the S word out of Clemson last year in the Sugar Bowl in the semifinal. I'm trying to keep it family friendly, but
we do.
So they cue that game up, and you hear the call, and it's just like one huge Garrett Wilson play after another, and that game was kind of a testimonial to him and Olave both. Really, Olave came up big and kind of what's the word, where he redeemed himself from the year before. So, you know, those guys, what was routine, and Tony knows this, is that I think they set some kind of Ohio State record for the most consecutive games where two guys had 100 yards receiving, and also the most number of, they only played 7 or 8 games. I was going to say the most number of games where two teammates had 100 yards in the same season, in the same game in the same season. But whatever it was, I mean, it was consistently, you could just mark them down each for like 6, 120, 1.5 touchdowns on average every game. And I mean, they would just go out and do it. And against good competition, bad competition, it didn't matter. And obviously a lot of that was your quarterback too, because Fields was almost uncanny at times, as well as he became more and more and more in command of what he was doing as well. So, and he was healthy. I think that helped the cause as well. So you hope for health for both those guys all season. And you also looking, you know, behind them, because here comes Jackson Smith-Njigba, who is ready. He is ready to break out. And then, you know, here comes Marvin Harrison Jr., who looks like he was born on third base. And, you know, Emeka Buka, his reputation precedes him. And certainly Jaden Ballard is also in this discussion as well. So they got some dudes. This zone 6 is pretty good.
Marvin Harrison looks like he was born in the red zone. He's incredibly effective there. I mean, he's going to be special. He's going to be fun to watch. And yeah, like I feel like complimenting somebody. I didn't mean to slight Chris Olave, because he's really, really good. But there's just a lot of good guys there, and it's going to be fun to watch, assuming Ohio State has a quarterback that can get them the ball.
It's a body type. It's a playing style, because the same thing runs through my mind, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'll say what runs through my mind is that Garrett Wilson looks like he was born to play the position. He just looks prototypical NFL wide receiver. Chris Olave looks like you could put him anyone. And it's not just the way he looks, it's the way he plays the position and played special teams leading into his wide receiver role. You know, the Michigan blocked punt kind of stands out, that this guy's just a gamer. He's just a baller. It's like you could put him at linebacker and he would do okay, or you could put him at running back, give him some carries. Like you could put him anywhere. Kind of guy.
I think Ohio State fans should be thanking their lucky stars that they get to see Chris Olave for a 4th year, because he showed enough to me to say he should be in the NFL. But if he feels he has more he wants to accomplish and more he wants to improve upon, and, you know, move his draft stock up maybe from 2nd round to 1st round, or, you know, whatever it could have been last year to whatever it will be this year, more power to him. I agree with Mark. He was so much more than just a guy who could catch the ball. He was a blocker. He was so great on special teams. And then you think about Wilson. One of the first big plays he ever made was that freak show catch he had against Clemson the year before, where he went up and like 5 feet up in the air and caught that ball. I was actually down there, and in my rotten luck, I'm taking pictures, and the side judge, back judge got in the way of the photo. Otherwise, I mean, it's from me to the door right here from how far away I am when he's catching that pass. And I just had an official kind of blocking me on the play. Otherwise, I've got a great image of it. And he's got to be, You know, they talk about vertical leap, 36 inches, 39 inches, whatever. He's got to be several feet above sea level when he's making that play. So, yeah, very impressive.